Hey guys, welcome back to Million Dollar Standard. I'm your host, Jodi Sodini, and today's guest is someone I've had on the show before. Actually, he's my first return guest. Eddie, that should say
Really?
something about you. And the
Wow,
reason
okay.
I wanted him back is because he's not just talking about ads and marketing and things, but he's actively building and testing some real systems in the market. And that's really exciting.
Mm,
So we want to peel back the curtain on that a little bit. But Eddie works at that intersection of leadership and marketing. And what I appreciate most about his approach is that he doesn't separate his identity from the execution of what's working well. So he's in the data, he's running the ads, he's building the memberships, he's making decisions based on numbers, not
mm.
just noise in what's going on online. So today we're going to be talking about what's actually working for him. I'm excited. I'm going to ask you some things, but we're going to talk about ads and customer acquisition cost and
Mm.
MER, risk tolerance, and then how your standards as a leader and as a person can affect the kind of bets that you're willing to make in your business. So, this isn't theory, this is real world decision making. So, Eddie, welcome back.
Thank you. It's cool to be back, and the fact that I'm your first return guest is actually, like, pretty awesome because maybe I provided enough value in the first time to come back.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. No, I really like, I mean, our pre interview conversation, just the way that we riff, the conversations that we have, the things that we talk about, just always good to chat with you. So,
Thank
all right. At a high level, kind of give us an overview of what's working right now from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah, cool. So what I'm really seeing that's working right now is all about building trust and authority. Like any way that you could do that, that's what's really working in the marketplace, right? So that's why, in the past year and a half, maybe 2 years, you've seen a splur of people doing low tickets. You've seen a splur of people jumping into more webinars, especially if they're like a high ticket coach. And it's just because there's this lack of trust, and utilizing those front ends has been the biggest, open shift in the marketplace in order to get people into their higher ticket programs. So all in all, that's been like the biggest thing that I've been seeing now. And that's what I've been utilizing not only for myself, for my clients. Like myself, I use a low ticket so I could ascend people into my higher ticket. That's the whole purpose of it. It's not just to make money off the front end, it's to acquire people at a specific cost. And make my money back rather than doing a book a call that I'm spending, $1,300, $1,500, $2,000 just to acquire a customer, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and it's rare to see a business that actually works on only selling, like, low ticket front end products, except I had one client, I mean, she's been a client for, like, 5 years running a slow funnel, and we're making 7 figures doing that with, like, a low ticket membership on the back end,
yeah.
and she doesn't do any high ticket, so it's so interesting. I'm a huge fan of building trust and authority and then selling people into higher ticket things. I love that.
Yeah, and that's what you need right now. Like people's trust is on the floor, right? They need to know that you know what you're talking about. We've had
Mhm.
many gurus come out, especially after COVID, just, hey, I could promise you XYZ result. And then, the client's holding the bag, like it didn't work for them. They spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on programs, and everybody's really on pins and needles right now. So any which way that you could build that authority. I love low ticket because they consume a lot of your content, maybe 3 to 4 hours of your content just for the mini course. And I love webinars because they could spend an hour and a half up to 3 hours with Q&A, getting to know how you feel. So all of that really pushes people over the edge. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I want to work with Jody. Okay, I want to work with
Mhm.
Eddie, right? So that's the biggest thing right now. It's just building that authority, and using these types of front end funnels to be able to do it.
Where are you seeing the strongest leverage as far as, like, acquiring traffic and leads? Is it with paid ads, organic, partnerships, affiliates? What's
So
working?
yeah, so this is a double-edged sword on this one because there's two forms of it. And I think that you really need both of these forms in order to scale your business. One is paid traffic. You cannot do anything without paid traffic because that is like the incinerator on everything that you do, right? On your
Mhm.
offers, everything like that. It gives you that major exposure, right? Your ads can be plopped up in front of anybody and everybody, and that's what's going to get people onto your profile, your Instagram profile. And that's the second part, right? The second part is having a very, very strong social media presence. And I'm not talking about social media presence as far as like virality or anything like that, but having your profile in a way that caters to your audience, like handling objections, testimonials, who you're about, providing value, things like that. Both of those things hand in hand are the biggest leverage that you can have when it comes to traffic. You could do affiliates, you could do all that stuff, right? But for what we do with me and my clients, those are the two biggest levers that we see as far as traffic is concerned.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, and are you doing done for you ads?
Yeah, I'm still doing it. Yeah.
Okay, so we had this conversation last time, right? Like, we're technically like competitors. We both provide a very similar service in the marketplace, but I don't see you as a competitor. I see you as like a partner in this space because like we're having these conversations. We're talking about what's working for you, what's working
Yeah.
for me. Like lifting each other up is only helpful to the people that we serve. So
Yeah.
again, like there's no competition. It's the people that align with you, and the people that align with me. So
Yeah.
when you look at like your paid traffic, what numbers do you care about the most right now? So I mean, it's like hard to like have these conversations with clients because I'm like,
Yeah.
do you want to spend a specific amount of money or do you want to make a specific amount of money? And then we
Yeah.
have to talk about like what's your risk tolerance? How much can we spend to acquire a client? So what number do you focus on most with your clients?
Well, I don't focus on the cost per lead. That's one thing that I don't focus on. I don't know how many clients I've had that I've had to like change their thought process about the cost per lead or the amount of leads that they're going to be getting in. So it's on a case by case basis. So like for a low ticket, for me, it will be the cost to acquire a customer versus what's the actual AOV, right?
Mhm,
That's the risk tolerance, right? If I know my
mhm,
AOV is at $60, well, I know that I could spend up to $65 to $70 to acquire a customer
mhm.
because the whole purpose of the low ticket is to get the client, not to make the money back, right? So,
Yeah.
I know what the risk tolerance is on that. When it comes to um, a webinar, I'm not looking at the cost per lead on that, which a lot of people would, right? What I'm looking at is what's happening inside the webinar, the show up rate, how many people stayed for the offer, and how many people converted, right?
Yep. Those are
Those
big levers
those are
that
big levers
when you
because
adjust those can change the entire game.
exactly,
Absolutely.
right? Because like if you get 100 people to opt in on a webinar, but you only get 15 people to show up, well, okay, there's something wrong there, right? But
Mhm,
if you get 100 leads and 60 people show up, okay, there's something right there, right? So
mhm.
those are the biggest levers I look at when it comes down to it. And then, even more further down the road, right? Like on the low ticket or even on the webinar, I look at how many of those people actually converted into a higher ticket program, right? And then from there, I could be like, okay, we have the right ascension because both those funnels are basically an ascension to the next program. And if those funnels are doing what they need to be doing and bringing in the right people, then ascending people becomes much easier. And I look at that as well, right? Funny enough, I was having a conversation with a client and they're all about like, I want leads, 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 all the amount of leads. I'm like, okay, cool. You want all these leads. What's your cost to acquire a customer on the back end? They're like, oh, I didn't think about that. I'm like,
I don't
okay,
know.
well, I'm like, "Oh, what?" Like, so basically what I ended up doing with the next exercise, I'm like, "Let's pull up this one campaign you have," because you have like 5 running right now. I'm like, "Let's pull up this campaign. Let's see how much it costs you to acquire a customer." "Oh, okay. Well, we spent like $2,000 to acquire a customer and we had 119 leads." I'm like, "Is that break even for you guys?" Like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, so then you don't want more leads, you want better
I
leads,
know.
right?
Someone is out there lying to these people,
Yeah,
telling them, like, if you just bring more leads into your funnel, you're gonna make more money, and that's absolute bull crap.
it is.
And
It's absolute bullcrap.
unfortunately, people are buying it, and then they're coming to people like us going like, "Why isn't this working? I've been working with this company for a month, and they're getting me all these leads, but they're not booking calls, and I can't convert them." Like, it's because the back end is broken.
Yeah.
Like, it's
No,
not necessarily even the ads agency's fault, it's just that they don't think holistically enough to
yeah.
realize there's more to it than just bringing you leads.
No, and you know, funny enough, I just finished onboarding a client. We're going to be launching their webinar next week, and he's like, "Man, the old company were like, yeah, we got you like cheap leads," but he's like, "But I didn't make any money." I'm like, "Yeah, because
Cheap leads, red
exactly one,
flag.
cheap leads. You're running it on a specific objective that you shouldn't be, and secondly, like I could see based off of the copy, they're not qualified. I could tell like how they ran everything." You're going to get crap leads. So he's like, okay, like nobody bought my VIP. Nobody. I'm like, yeah, I understand why. So you know, with the client that, and we're doing done for you on this client anyways, like we're like, okay, we're making sure that the copy hits the right avatar. We're going to structure this right. We have the right creatives. We're fixing your funnel. We're making sure that everything works, because the last thing you want is to have another campaign just because you want to go for the cost per lead happen again, and you're going to be in the same boat that you were before. You know, so
Yeah,
a lot of
absolutely.
agencies just drive for like, yeah, I just want for cost per lead, and I'm like, that's the wrong idea nowadays, 100%.
That and, like, even agencies that are working with companies that, like, they say they want more leads. I think the company doesn't understand the client, like, doesn't necessarily understand what it is that they
Yeah,
need, so they're problem aware, but they're not necessarily solution aware. They think
correct.
that
Yeah,
their problem is that they need more leads, and then, like, the basic agencies that just pop up or even there's even established agencies, people that have been doing this for a while, but they have terrible customer churn because at
mhm,
some point the client realizes, I don't just need more leads. I actually need,
real
I need to fix
buyers.
this and yeah, I need real buyers. It's so terrible and it's unfortunate that a lot of people have to learn the hard way and then it ends up putting kind of a bad taste in their mouth about Facebook ads and are like ads don't work.
Yeah,
No, it's just
yeah.
your
They just didn't get the
strategy
right
sucks.
people to run them down. Understand that it's quality
Yeah.
over quantity. You know, so
Yeah, yeah, somebody lied to them along the way. So, all right. So, how do you define something is working versus not? So, like, at what point are you willing to say, "Dude, let's scale this up," versus like, "No, this actually needs more work." What are you looking at?
well, on a low ticket for me, if we're spending like 3 to 4 $500 a day on it, and the metrics on the funnel match up, right? So for instance, like I'll give you a prime example. I have a coaching client. She's like, I'm like, do I scale this? I'm like, look, let's look at your funnel metrics and see where everybody's kind of converting. Right.
Mhm.
And once we pulled out the funnel metrics, we're like, okay, well, you're at, 40% on your bump order, you're at 25% on your upsell. I'm like, I think that that's a win-win. Those numbers are perfect. We'd fix this one little thing, which is your headline, to get more people to convert on the front end. We could scale this to the moon. Right.
Mhm.
So if the funnel metrics are looking the way that they're supposed to look, right? Webinar metrics look the way they're supposed to look. Low ticket metrics look the way they're supposed to look, and we see that we are have the opportunity that, okay, well, the only thing that we could do here is add budget, right, in order to get you more sales. Then that's what we do it, because I don't look at just the ads. I look at the overall funnel itself, because if you're like, okay, well, I'm converting at 3%, but then your bump orders are not converting where they're supposed to, your upsells not converting where it's supposed to. No matter how much money you put on it, you're actually going to drop your return on ad spend. You're going to drop your conversions, everything like that,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
so I look at the tail end before I go, okay, we could actually add budget on the front end in order to be able to scale it.
I wish there were more people like us. Like you think the same. I mean, I don't care if I get more competitors in this space. I want our ideal clients to be handled the right way. Like
Yeah,
I'm really sick of agencies, like cookie cutter agencies that just like send traffic and they're like, yeah, this is good.
yeah.
Eventually those people figure it out and they come find someone like us. But we need more people like us in this world that actually care about diving into the actual ecosystem and how things are going. And I just think there's not enough. There's not enough people like us.
There's not. There's really not, because, I think the rise and the fall of even just a media buying agent, which I think overall a media buying agency is going to be wiped out. It's gonna have to be a creative agency, not a media buying agency,
Mm,
right? But the rise and fall of it lands on the fact that these media buying agencies don't take charge of the funnel. I don't know how many media buyers are on into is like, yeah, I just look at the ads. And I'm like, and they're like, but it's not converting. And I'm like, do you have a pulse on the actual funnel itself? No, they don't give me. I'm like, dude, I would fight day and night to gain access to those funnel metrics because that's going to tell me the rest of the story of what's happening on the ads.
yeah.
And a lot of people don't do that. And that's why they have troubles trying to scale, or they piss off clients, or they're not getting conversions because
Yeah, and it's not like a nice to have. It's not a
no,
this
no,
is
it's a need to
ideal.
have.
This is a need to have. It's a must have. It's
Yeah.
not optional. If I'm working with a client, we're looking at the funnel.
Yeah.
Like we
Exactly.
do like a 52-point funnel audit just for like conversion optimization
Yeah.
and we do compliance reviews, all of that stuff. Cause people will come to me with a funnel that is like non-compliant for Facebook. I'm like, how are you even doing this? Like we might
No.
end up with your ad account shut down if we keep running ads to this.
And
So
and even that, like, we build our spreadsheets. Like, we get into the data and, like, we build the spreadsheets so we know what's converting and where, and when we did
mhm,
a change, what happened on that funnel and everything like that.
yeah.
Like, if we didn't have that, like, we wouldn't be able to scale anybody. Like, we would have absolutely no clue, you know?
Yeah. I wonder if the issue with some people that are not looking at the back end and not testing things and not consistently like tracking like, okay, what did we change? How did that improve? What happened? Is I wonder if it's ignorance, if they just have no idea, or is it laziness and like shirking responsibility? Either way, like I find it to be completely unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, I find it one lazy, but I also find it too like they learned the paid ad side, but they never learned about the funnels.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for me, I'm not saying unfortunately because like I'm the one that ended up does this kind of stuff anyways. Like, since I come from a background of building websites, I automatically jumped into funnel building, right?
Mhm.
And then I wanted to run paid ads, so I learned that skill as well. So I knew the front and back of it, right? That's why most people hired me, because I knew the funnels, I knew the paid ads. And you don't find a lot of media buyers that know the funnels. Like, they have
Right.
absolutely no idea what goes into building up a funnel, with the offer, everything like that. They have absolutely no clue, right? So a lot of people is like, I could just drive the ads and then that's it, right? But that's not the case. You have to have the A to Z view of the entire workings of it.
I think we had a similar journey then because that was for me as well. Is like started out with building some websites and then built some funnels, got
Yeah.
into ClickFunnels, went to FHL, and then I was like, these funnels need more traffic. How are we going to do that? And then I learned ads.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, like learning the back end stuff first and then figuring out like how do we bring the traffic in. It's a very natural evolution and really and like the perfect way to do this versus the people that are just coming in, the bro marketers that just want to throw ads at things and not care about the rest of it. So I think that also is like a personality thing. You and I show up really well as leaders. We can take charge. We can have those tough conversations with clients. We can say, like, hey, this isn't working. Let's do this. And I think there are some people that are a little bit more passive. So
Mhm.
talking about like leadership, how has your maybe risk tolerance or like tolerance for who you work with changed as you've matured in business? Has that changed?
But yeah, like, I'm not trying to take every person that's willing to throw money at me anymore, right? I'm very particular on who I want to work with, right? And they have to have a particular tolerance on top of that as well too, because I'm not here to babysit the fact that, oh my God, we're spending too much money. I'm like, we've only spent $100. Like, chill. You know what I mean? Um,
Yep.
I'm I'm here to leverage you from like a six-figure business to a multiple six-figure business, or even to an seven-figure business, right?
Mhm.
I'm not here to take somebody from, oh my God, I just started my low ticket funnel. Can you run traffic to it? I'm like, you don't even have a freaking back end. Like, I'm not going to take you
Right. What's
because
your high ticket offer on the back end? They're like, "I
yeah,
need one of those?"
yeah, like, I'm not gonna take you because you're gonna be complaining about every single day that you're not making money on the low ticket funnel, which is not made for that, right? I'm not gonna take somebody that doesn't have an established offer, because then that's like 2 to 3 months in progress, probably 3 months in progress, trying to test out the offer, see if it works, things like that, right? And a lot of nuances happen in that time, right? So I only go and work with select few. So my journey now of what I'm actually doing in order to work with those select few is that one, I'm putting them inside of my coaching program first, right?
Mm.
If we could put them inside my coaching program first and they're willing to pay me what I'm asking for per month on that coaching program, and we could scale them and we can move them into having making sure that they have the high ticket, making sure that they're scaling either the low ticket or the webinar, right? Maybe they have a low ticket, they want to add a mid ticket funnel in there, and we'll add the webinar in there and we'll help them scale that. And then they're like, okay, now I'm at too much spend that Eddie, I cannot do this on my own anymore. Let's have you, right? But we've already gotten them the results to that, that it's just a
Mhm.
natural thing. It's like, okay, we'll just
Right.
start building out everything for you. We already know your offer, we already know everything, and let's just scale you from where you're at to where you want to go, you know? So that's the journey that I'm now taking, right? I've had a lot of people come to me, it's like, hey Eddie, I just want you to do the ads for me. I'm like, can you do the ads yourself? Yeah, I can, but I just need some help. I'm like, okay, let's jump into my coaching program first. Let's get you the results. Let's fix everything that's probably broken, because there's a lot of broken crap on there, right? And then let's get you to scale and get you to understand this methodology that I'm going to teach you with the ads. And then from there, once we get you to a certain point, we'll see about working with each other. But I'm not taking on done for you clients just to take on done for you clients, right?
Right.
They have to have a specific quota now.
Yeah. Well, that was so like my next question was going to be like what made you decide that this was the right thing for your ecosystem, but like you just explained that of like I can't take on everybody. I'm not going to take on everybody. So
Yeah.
I'm going to equip these people to, do it themselves, get them to the point where it does make sense for me to take them on. And even then like they have to probably meet a certain qualification in order to
Yeah.
work with you. So
Yeah.
that's a really awesome way of ascending people and, like, acquiring customers that are ready for that, like, next level thing. Where do you see people pulling the plug too early out of fear?
Hmm.
Sometimes emotions sneak in, right? Like, we let the
Yeah.
emotions make decisions rather than the data.
Yeah. So, I mean, I see it a lot in the fact that, maybe we spent a certain amount of money and they haven't made their money back, but they don't understand that we still have to look at the data to kind of see where that needs to kind of get fixed. Right. So for instance, like I have a client, I inherited a low ticket funnel from somebody else that decided to build it for him. And he's like, I just need to run traffic to this. I need to start getting leads, everything like that. Very, very adamant about how many high ticket clients he wanted for the month. And as we go through the process, we're coming to find out that the low ticket is not converting. So if it didn't convert for us and it's not converting for him, I had to sit down with the client because he was already about to like, I just want to pull the plug. I'm done with this. I'm like, look, let's sit down. Let's really talk about this, right? Because let's talk who your ideal customer is and if they would even want this product. And he's like, you're right. They wouldn't even want this product. This is like not even in the hemisphere. So I'm like, that's why it's not converting, right? So
Yeah.
let's rethink this, right? Let's rethink what's going to be your avenue and how to be able to get those customers in, right? So you get those clients that are like, yeah, I want to pull the plug because this is just not working. I'm like, but why is it not working, right?
Right. And
So,
so often it's you understand there's a lot of times people are quick to blame the ads and say, "Well, you're not
oh
bringing
no,
in
one
the right
hundred
people.
percent,
You're not bringing in the right blah blah blah. Like we're spending too much on this. We're not getting the right leads." But it's like actually what you're trying to sell them is not what they need.
exactly,
Or even maybe the transformation that you're selling them is what they need. Like they actually do need that, but the way that you're positioning it or selling it is not like
yeah,
appetizing to them. They don't feel that they need it. They don't realize they need it. You need to repackage it,
yeah.
reposition it a different way.
Yeah, and a lot of times the customers that I work with, some majority of the time I'm their avatar, and I'm like, this doesn't make sense. Yeah, but I still
Yeah.
wanna run it. It's gonna make I'm like, "Dude, this does not make sense whatsoever. You
Yeah.
could throw as much money as I am your avatar, and this does not make sense whatsoever." And then when we run ads to it, right, and we've done everything, change angles, done everything like that, creatives, whatever the case, when we change the funnel, all that stuff, it's not an offer that people want or that makes sense in their head that it's actually like, "Okay, this clicks. This is something I really need." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So it's this constant back and forth with the customer of like, and again, we all get emotionally attached to something, I mean, I know you've probably launched your own offers. You're emotionally attached to them. Like, I want to make this freaking work, right?
Yes.
I've done that myself as well. I mean, we were funnel hacking live. I was trying to make a freaking offer work, right? And hindsight, I'm like, you know what? Every time I told somebody that, I'm like, it just didn't make sense. I'm like, okay, so thank God it. So thank
Mm.
God I pivoted, right? But
Yeah. Dude, we sat next to each other at, like, most of the sessions. You were, like, my official seat grabber. Like, "Run, Eddie. We need good seats."
but
It's great.
But yeah, we were, they get emotionally attached like the same way we get emotionally attached to it, but we have to look at the numbers. And if the numbers tell us it's not something that's going to work, we gotta have to pivot. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest hurdle a lot of times that we have to deal with clients, especially when it comes down to something that they feel is going to work, but it's really not. And then 2 to 3 months down the line, they're like, "You're not doing your job." I'm like, dude, I've been telling you from the numbers, everything like that, that it's not that we need to really pivot right now.
Yeah, 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 and sometimes they get so emotionally attached to, like, "No, I know what I'm doing. This is the thing that they need," and then they blame us and say, "No, it's the ads." I'm like, "No, really, your offer sucks."
Yeah.
Like, clearly the data is showing.
Yeah.
You can't argue with the receipts, and that's what data is, which is great because it provides that kind of, like, proof for us to be like, "Listen, our click-through rate is this, our cost per click is this, our
Mm.
CPM is this, our cost per lead is this, people are showing up to your webinar, they're sticking through to the end." Like, all of these things are great, and then you pitch and nobody buys, is because they don't want your stuff.
Yeah.
The pitch was terrible, or the actual offer is not what they need,
Yeah,
or it
and
is what they need, but you're not positioning it in a way that they want it.
yeah, and I've ran my own offers, and I'm like, dude, I've had amazing show up rates. I mean, I'm being transparent with this. Like, I've had amazing show up rates, people sticking to the offer, but then I pitched them what I have, and I'm like, okay, maybe that didn't work, and then I change it. That's the only thing I would change is the offer. I'm like, okay, that
Mhm.
didn't work. Changed it again. Ooh, that worked. Okay, my numbers are lining up, right? So now I know it was my
Yeah.
offer, right? So like, and that happens with everybody. Like, it's a trial and error, and you have
But
to.
that's what smart marketers do.
Yeah.
They run the same thing over and over and over again, let the data tell them which thing to fix, right? So if we're
Yeah.
going like left to right, like like ad metrics all the way to your webinar metrics and your conversion rate, if you look at the farthest left metric that's broken and fix that first,
Yeah.
right? So let's say our cost per click is like way too high. Well, then obviously we're going to fix that first. And then the next thing, okay, we're going to fix that next. And then like people are actually staying through to the pitch, but they're not buying. That's like, definitely have to fix that. So it's just it real data is so it's so it tells a story.
Yeah.
And when people are working with, people like you and I who understand that, it really does mean that marketing always works. It really always works. It's just
Yeah.
it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when
One.
you
Yeah.
get that data back, you pivot, you refine, you optimize, and then when it finally clicks, you're like, "Oh, marketing does work." I'm like, "I
Yeah.
told you, Facebook ads work." It just really does. So, all right, we also know like ads don't fix broken offers.
Offers.
They don't fix broken anything. And I think sometimes we see founders and business owners like expecting the front end ads to compensate for the week everything else. So, that's essentially what we just covered. And it's truly like that is the honest truth of what people are experiencing and how foundationally important it is to
Yeah.
have a really good offer.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And even one thing I know, like everybody's belief is like, oh my God, like I'm gonna test this organic. And then from there, I'm gonna run paid traffic to it. I'm like, people are organic, they know who you are. It doesn't matter what you sell, they're gonna buy anyways. The true
mhm,
test is when you do it cold. So I don't even do organic. I could run an offer on my Facebook and like nobody will grab it, right? But then
yeah,
I run that same offer on paid traffic and people buy it. And I'm like, okay, well, these are the people I want to work with, not the people that's like hanging around my Facebook page.
yeah, yeah.
So like I always test cold. Like that's the true test if an offer is going to make it or break it in the market. I don't rely on organic traffic whatsoever.
Yeah. I don't really either. It's all anything that I find important to get out to an audience, I put ad spend behind.
Yeah.
Like even if it's a small ad spend and even if it's only to my warm audience. If it's important, I got to put a little money behind it, a little skin in the game. So, all right, I'm going to run through some rapid fire stuff and then we'll wrap up.
Okay.
Okay. What is one metric that you never ignore?
Ooh, AOV to CAC or
For our newbies out there,
yeah. So average
average order value to
value
customer
versus
acquisition cost,
yeah.
AOV to CAC.
But in other ways, it would be like LTV to CAC, but if you're looking at front end metrics, it's average order value to cost to acquire a customer.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. What's one ad lesson that has cost you money but paid off long term?
Ooh, not relying on Meta 100% with
Ooh.
the structure of the
Okay.
campaigns.
Yeah. You mean like CBO versus ABO, things like that? Like letting Meta do the thing?
Yeah, because for instance, like right now with the whole Andromeda update, everybody's saying like let Meta do the thing. I have a way of testing my creatives and I know that they work. And then Meta's
Uh-huh.
like, I'm not going to use those creatives. I'm like, screw you. I'm going to push these creatives because I know they convert. Right. So we've been experimenting with ad structures in order to making sure that what we test that's been proven to work actually gets pushed.
It's same. It is incredible where you see people saying like, "Just feed the machine, just put all these blah, blah, blah." And
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, you know what? I have one account where we do dynamic ads and just throw everything all in one and it works really well. But I have another account where like one ad per set works
Yeah.
really well. We have a crap
Yeah.
ton of ad sets and one ad per set. Like you got to test. You
Yeah.
absolutely have to test. All right, what is one belief about scaling that you've maybe changed your mind
It's not a one size fits all in like adding budget or even horizontally scaling. I think the way that things are working right now, especially on the new Andromeda update, is that you're told to scale this one campaign that has like your warm and your cold audiences, and you're just going to end up spending a whole bunch of money on warm audiences that you don't need to. Right.
on?
So I separate scaling campaigns now in having different bidding strategies per se
Oh,
in
yeah.
each one of them. And then I segment out all my warm audience so I'm 100% cold on those campaigns.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. This is less tactical, more strategic. What's a way that leaders sabotage good data with bad emotions?
That's like a really like in-depth one, right?
Terrible rapid fire question. I apologize. How about
No,
this? What do you eat for breakfast this morning?
had a protein shake with banana and almond butter in it. Okay, so
I knew it.
um
Good,
what's
clean
the
eating.
but what's the so what was the question again? Like how do you
A way
separate
that leaders sabotage good data with bad emotions.
how do leaders sabotage good data with bad emotions? That's really like a conundrum in my head that's happening right now.
Well, I mean, we sort of covered it in our conversation, right? About people who are making decisions emotionally versus letting the data tell a story.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that, like, a lot of leaders, or entrepreneurs and things like that don't have enough data in order for them to make the decisions, or they don't believe in making decisions based off of data. They believe in making decisions based off of gut. And I'm one of those kinds of people that kind of like believe in both, right?
Same.
I look at the data, but I also have gut feelings. And a lot of
I know.
times my gut feeling kind of lines up with what's happening with the data, right? But
Mhm.
there's people that just go 100% on gut and really don't know what the story is, or they just don't have enough data to understand what decision they need to make, which is the problem with a lot of entrepreneurs. They just don't have the data to make those kinds of decisions, so they go by gut. I don't think that really answered the question, but that's yeah, I'm
No, I think you did. I think
yeah.
we're good. All right. What is one question that every business owner should ask before increasing ad spend?
Uh,
I feel like this
what's
is more like trivia than rapid
Yeah,
fire.
I know it is. Like, what's my numbers? Like, do my numbers line
Yes.
up?
Yeah,
You
for
know?
sure. For sure. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, sorry. We both fought very hard on this interview in a couple of places. Like my brain is activated. I've been scaling up my creatine. I'm at 20
Jeez.
milligrams a day, 20 milligrams a day of creatine. So, because I mean, once you saturate the muscles, you're feeding your brain. So,
Yeah.
Cool. Eddie, thank you so much for coming on and being our guest again. I am really excited for everyone listening. Eddie is someone that you can reach out to regarding Facebook ad support, the membership, the coaching program. Eddie, you want to tell them about that and where they can find you?
Yeah, I mean, you guys could find me with my product, Meta Ads Essentials. It's metaadsessentials.com. That puts you into my community. Everybody in there is paid. Everybody in there is providing value. And from there you'll learn a lot. And if you want to go and work with me further from there, then we'll talk, and I can more than be happy to help you scale, coach you, whatever it is that you need on what I know works in my world when it comes to paid ads.
See? Not competitors, nothing but love for Eddie. We've worked together before behind the scenes for a client, and it was instant like friendship. I got your back, you got my back, cool
Yeah.
stuff. So I absolutely love chatting with you. This has been another episode of the $1 Million Marketing Podcast, and I'm Jodi Sodini. I will catch you next week.